Hello and welcome to another episode of Fried Friends.
Hello. I forgot to go.
Today I am joined once again by my father.
Hello.
In today's video we're going to talk about psychedelics.
Whoa.
We both love psychedelics.
Yes, we do.
They are sacred.
Very sacred.
And when you don't respect them the way nature intended,
things can go dreadfully wrong.
So in this video we're not going to tell you about all the amazing times we've had. We've had many of those amazing times. We're going to focus on the times we fried it.
You go first.
Okay, so there was this time, where I was really drunk and somebody gave me a load of mushrooms. I don't really remember taking the mushrooms, and I got back to the house party and all of a sudden I wasn't drunk anymore and things started going on. And I thought, hang on a sec, I'm not, what's going on? Well, why am I tripping? And this was the moment that it went wrong, yeah? My mate turned to me, he looked me straight in the eyes and he said, Danny, what the f***'s wrong with you? And I thought to myself, good question.
Yeah.
And then the fear kicked in and I wanted it to stop. When you want it to stop,
Time goes slow.
when you're having a good time.
It goes very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I did? Do you remember this story?
You wanted KJ to knock you out. Is that the one?
Yeah. Well, no, that was plan B. That was plan B. Plan A was
I don't remember.
orange juice.
All right.
Because I heard that orange juice sobers you up. So I went to the fridge and I found one of those family-size orange juice. I downed the whole thing.
Oh, did it work?
No. Still tripping me nuts off, and I didn't even reach the peak yet. So here comes plan B. I begged my best friend to knock me out. I said, KJ mate, I'm really having a bad trip here. I said, just please knock me out. And he said, I ain't knocking you out.
I would have if I'd been there.
You would have?
Yeah.
Would you knock me out?
I would have knocked you out without being on mushrooms.
So basically, he wouldn't knock me out. Thinking about it now, imagine if he did try and knock me out and he punched me really hard and just split me lip open.
Can you imagine the bad time you've had then?
Yeah, it would have just made like just blood everywhere.
Yeah.
So in the end, he wouldn't knock me out, and he gave up his bedroom for me to go and basically have a bad trip. There was a bedside lamp, so all I wanted was the light off. But you know them lampshades where there's a button at the top to press them off. It was one of them.
Oh, right.
But at home, I have one where there's a button on the wire.
Okay.
So I'm there fucking around with this wire, trying to turn the light off, and I couldn't do it. And I'm just fucking with this wire, and it was one of them, and I am freaking the fuck out. In the end, I've just got the lamp and just. So yeah, that was a bad trip. So yeah, that's bad trip number one. Dad, do you want to tell a story of one of your bad trips?
Well, yeah, I think probably the first time I had a bad trip, we were watching a Madonna documentary.
Of course you can have a bad trip.
We decided to do it on space cakes. But in my wisdom, we were getting tired, the space cake was making us tired. And I said, well, it's only early. I'll tell you what, why don't we drop some acid to keep us awake? Everything was good up to the point where
it wasn't.
We were about 3/4 of the way through the Madonna documentary, and we all started coming up on the LSD and seeing visuals, and Madonna looked really weird. Even back then, I know she looks weird now, but back then on acid, she looked extremely weird. My mate, he decided that he didn't like it, and he verbalised it. He said, I'm not having a good time.
I'm really not having a good time.
All of a sudden, we all felt we weren't having a good time either. I felt if I could eat, it would get better for some strange reason. And so I tried to eat, my mouth was dry.
What were you trying to eat?
Crisps, anything I could get in my mouth, because I just felt eating would solve the issue. I couldn't eat, but Bicky, he could. And I suddenly got this
Anger and resentment towards him.
because he could eat and I couldn't. And the only thing I could think of was to bite his nose off. And I just thought, yes, I'm going to bite his nose off. So I got up, I walked round, I put my mouth over his nose, and everybody said, Mark, what the fuck are you doing? And suddenly I just realised I had my mouth over my mate's nose and decided to lick him instead. I licked him all over. I licked his head, I licked his face. It got really bad, and then I decided to throw Bicky out with a teddy bear. I said, get out.
Hang on, right, two things. You tried to eat his nose,
and
you threw him out, but why with a fucking teddy bear?
Well, because I felt guilty about throwing him. I just wanted I just wanted to soften it a little bit for him. And then I started to see everybody in slow motion and talking. And I thought I was dead. It's all I could think of. Oh my God, I'm dead. And then I decided to take all my clothes off. Yeah, it was just crazy. And then I just thought, I need somebody to help me here. So I phoned my brother up at 1 a.m, who actually chased a milk float down the road when he had a bad trip. That's another story, but he chased a milk float down the road. Now consider how fast a milk float goes, you'll know how stupid it must have looked. So, but going back to my trip, so I thought I'd died. My brother came round to help me, but he couldn't stop laughing when he got round, and that made it worse. And the next day, I couldn't even talk. How could this little thing do that to your mind? And the reason it did that to my mind was because I was stupid.
You watched fucking Madonna, mate.
Exactly.
You
I mean, that's going to send anyone on a bad trip, isn't it?
Why the fuck would you trip and watch Madonna?
Yeah, why would you watch Madonna anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
so many fucking...
But on acid, it's the most stupidest thing because...
You could have anything in the universe. You had
anything,
everything, and you chose
we
Madonna.
watched a Madonna documentary.
The way you had a bad trip then, basically, you watched Madonna. And Bicky, when he came out and said, I ain't liking this...
He triggered by saying
and then you tried to eat his nose.
Well...
And then you started licking his face.
Yeah.
Then you chucked him out with a teddy bear.
Yeah.
Then you got naked.
Yeah.
Then you called your brother,
Yeah.
who chased a milk cart.
No, not that night.
Right, let's quickly talk about that. So he had a bad trip, and a milk cart came out, and he thought, "Fucking, I'm going to chase." Did he want some milk?
No, the guy, the guy that was with him and you know instigated the whole evening. He phoned me up and said, "Look, Mark, your brother's he's all right.
He's all right.
Yeah,
he's just chasing the milk.
He's going to be all right, but and he said, I'm just looking out the window at the moment, and he's just chasing a milk float down Shepton High Street." I said, "What do you mean?" He thought he was running full pelt, and it was only doing about 1 mile an hour.
So Vicky, whose nose you tried to eat, and then you threw him out of a teddy bear. Did he forgive you for that? Did he ring you up? How did that conversation go? Did he say?
No, he lived with me at the time.
You chucked him out of his own house.
Yeah.
He didn't even have a house to go to.
No.
Where did he go?
No, he just slept in. I threw my car keys. I said, it was self-preservation.
What, he slept in the car?
Well, yeah, just for a bit. He came in later. But I was having, you know.
Did he have the teddy bear?
Well, listen, I was either going to kill him or he was going to sleep in the car with the teddy bear.
Once I took a load of acid and I joined a family of ducks. Some of the strongest liquid acid I've ever taken. Like, the world's a kaleidoscope. It's like the most mental visuals I've ever had. It was absolutely amazing. Everyone went to bed, but I found a family of ducks, and I just joined the ducks, and they followed me wherever I went. I thought I was a duck. It was actually amazing. Like, these ducks were incredible, and I was with them for hours. This is when it went wrong, because the ducks all of a sudden clapped at each other, and then they just flew off. But obviously, I can't fly, so I tried to fucking fly after these ducks, yeah. And I couldn't, and then I'd no one. I was now just sitting, wishing I was a duck, and it just fucked with my head. That wasn't that bad a trip. I didn't freak out. I didn't lose it. I just wish I was a duck.
Well, I've got a duck thing. Yeah,
You've got a duck thing. Yeah. Quack, quack,
quack. What I did here was completely irresponsible, and I don't recommend anybody to do it under any circumstances.
What did you do to this duck?
No, not what. No, but right. So okay, I'll tell you the story. So we went to
You're a duck fucker.
No. We went to a party and we decided to drop some acid. And about 5 minutes after dropping the acid, there was a knock at the door. It's a copper.
I thought you were going to say it was a duck.
It's a copper, right? And he said, "Is the owner in? Are you the owner?" I said, "No." He basically said we were making too much noise. The party's got her in. Everyone's got to go. The owner freaked out and said, "Right, you've all got to go. Get out." And we all looked at each other and thought, right, we've just dropped some acid. I'll drive home. Now, don't ever think about driving on any psychedelic. It's the most ridiculous, stupid thing.
Yeah,
to
you
do.
hadn't come up yet, had you?
No.
So you were hoping to get home before you could come up.
So
how long was?
Yeah. So it was about 20 minutes to get home, and I said, right, let's go, let's get out of here before we bloody come up on this acid. So we got in the car, no psychedelic feelings or anything, and all is good. We were about 15 minutes into the journey. We had to get on the M25, all good, everything's fine. Then in the slow lane on the motorway, I see 3 ducks, and I thought, no, you never get ducks on the motorway, do you? You never get ducks on the motorway. And all of a sudden, just as I'm on top of a and they took off. One hit my windscreen, feathers everywhere, and as we got in the house, my mate, he just couldn't get the vision out of us hitting ducks. And then obviously we started coming up on the psychedelic, we were trying to calm down, and my mate couldn't get it out of his head. He had the worst time ever. Another person that never did LSD again.
Okay, so another story. I went to a festival. We only went there for the day, and the plan was to take acid and then just stay up all night and leave and get the bus in the morning. So we just rocked up with no camping gear, shorts and a t-shirt because it was hot, yeah. And we found a guy selling acid. I was like, how much? Yeah, sorted all that out. And he goes, oh, just come here, I'll drop it in your mouth. Now, never trust a geezer selling acid who was quite blatantly tripping his nut off to drop it in your mouth. Say no, get him to put it on a Rizzler, get him to put it on a something, but he just went open up, and I said one drop please mate, and he's fucking, I don't know what he's done, but he just squidged the pipette. So we've probably done, I don't know, fuck knows how many. But anyway, we were like, cool, whatever, wicked. Things started getting really funky really quickly. And then it started to get dark. And with darkness comes coldness, which we hadn't even thought about. And now we're fucking tripping our bollocks off. And I said to my mate, I said, you cold? He was like, yeah. And we just realised we're gonna fucking freeze to death. And we found a camping shop, and they had sleeping bags and like things to keep you warm. But neither of us could go and buy one. We just were like this. And I couldn't go in and buy it. There was just no way. Things were too weird. The only thing I could do was ring you, and I rang you, and you came to pick me up.
Oh, I remember that.
Once I got back to the house, everything was okay. I could start to enjoy the trip. But your bird at the time, she offered me a pudding, a chocolate pudding. Now, chocolate pudding is the last thing on my mind right now. I'm thinking about the universe. Chocolate pudding was bottom of the list. But anyway, so she said, do you want some chocolate pudding? And I said, no thank you, I can't eat right now. But what I meant by I can't eat was like, I can't eat, like I don't want food, I can't.
I don't want to eat.
Yeah, she thought I meant I can't physically use the spoon and eat. So next thing I know, and this hasn't happened to me since I was a baby, she did the whole here come the aeroplane thing, yeah? So I'm sitting there tripping my bollocks off, and she's gone, here comes the aeroplane, and she just shoved this chocolate pudding in my face.
Oh.
And I can't chew. I'm just literally. So we fucked off out the house, and we found an ant's nest. I recommend psychedelics and ant's nests.
I decided I wanted to, for some strange reason, have fish and chips. So, and everybody else, yeah. It was, we'd gone all through the night. It was now midday the next day, and we were still, keeping it all going. And I was just hungry, and I said, right, that's it, fish and chips. So we donned our dark sunglasses, our trip glasses, and decided to venture out
Men in Black
down the high street. Yeah, so there was four of us, and we had a fish and chip shop just down the road, 5 minutes away. I went up to and I was said, fish chips, please. And it was the way I said it, and of course that triggered everybody, and we were trying not to laugh, and we were all laughing, and there was a queue. He said, you want fish and chips? So I said, yes, fish and chips, please. And he thought I was weird and gave me this funny look, and then I got paranoid. Anyway, he said, do you want salt and vinegar? I said, yes, please, I'll do it. And I just snatched it off of him, and I just started throwing the vinegar. But I was throwing it everywhere. I wasn't even, I had no coordination, and I threw it on him, and I just had to get out sharp as I got out. And
did you pay for it?
I don't even think I did. I just got out and just don't go into a fish and chip shop.
Did you manage to eat the fish and chips?
Yeah, they were lovely, loads of salt and vinegar, because, I think everybody had salt and vinegar that day.
Yeah, it didn't start licking everyone.
No.
Cut all the vinegar off of it. Thank you for watching. I make videos every single Friday.
Danny Fridays.
Please like, share, subscribe, help this channel grow. What I want to do, I know it doesn't fit in with the theme of frying things, but if you'd return, let's do the same video, but let's talk about our best moments.
Oh, I've got hundreds.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. We're going to come back, and I'm going to tell you about some of our funniest and positive tripping moments. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you later.
Take it easy.